I'm going to be doing a lemon Swiss roll. Yes, a lovely light lemon Swiss roll. Here it is. Oh, look at that, look at that, look at that, look at that. To make Swiss roll, I'm going to be doing a lemon version, I'm afraid, because A likes the lemon. I've had a look in a few cookbooks and they're very similar. So what I'm going to do is follow an old recipe from my usual book, Florence B. Jack, Cooker at Every Household. And she suggests 2 eggs. So I'm going to pop 2 eggs into my bowl. That's number 1. And a second egg. In it goes, hopefully without any shell. Ooh, maybe not. Oh, 2 yolks in that one, would you ever? Supposed to be lucky, or so my father says. And to that, I need to add, according to Florence, 4 ounces of caster sugar. Now, I had a look in the B-row book, as you do, and the B-row book says 3 ounces, so I'm going with Florence at the moment, and we'll see how it turns out. So I've got my whisk attachment on, because this needs, as you can see, I've got my oh dear, one of them days. I've got my whisk attachment on because we need to more or less double the size, if not more. We need it nice and creamy. So here's hoping. Okay, so my eggs are nice and creamy now. So I did note when I was reading this that Florence actually said to beat it with a wooden spoon. Oh my word. That was on high speed for a good 5 minutes, and I have to say I wouldn't have liked to have beaten that with a wooden spoon. That would take forever. So I'm going to take off my whisk now. For the next part, I need to add flour. I've put my oven onto gas mark 7 and I've lined a baking tray with some baking parchment. You could use greaseproof paper as well. I find baking parchment works the best simply because it doesn't stick. If you do use greaseproof paper, I would advise you to grease the actual greaseproof paper because it doesn't come off as easily. Now I'm going to add my flour and my flavourings, and I've got 4 ounces here of self-raising flour. Now Florence says to use plain flour because that's all they would have had in 1914 or earlier, and to add baking powder. But as we've got self-raising flour and I'm throwing it everywhere, we'll use that. 4 ounces of self-raising flour going in there, and we need to gently sift it into our cake batter. We're going to try now to not knock out too much air. We have put a lot of air in by whisking it, so now we're going to try and keep that air in there by folding it into our mixture. So we're going to gently just fold in our flour, and this is a delicate procedure, guys. Don't go full on it. You can tell I'm doing it slowly and gently, and fold over and through, and that helps the flour to get incorporated, and what it does is it keeps the air in because you're adding air by folding it over. Try not to mix too fast is all I can say here. Be gentle, and as it's getting nearly there, we've got a little bit of flour left there. What I'm going to do is add the zest of a lemon to make it nice and lemony. So I've got my lemon here, and I'm going to try and zest it with my sieve. That's not going to get me anywhere. Oopsie. Oh, the daisy. You can't zest a lemon with a sieve, I just want to say. Zest your lemon. Try not to get any of the white stuff in, that's the bitter stuff. If you haven't got any lemons knocking around, you could just leave it plain. A bit of vanilla would be nice if you want to do that. If you've got any oranges knocking around, zest that instead. It's up to you what flavour you want to do. And then just continue to fold that in. Don't add it when you add the flour at the beginning, when you sieve the flour in, because what will happen, it'll make clumps of flour and you don't want that. And when it's incorporated, which we're nearly there, see the air in there? It's great, isn't it? And we're going to turn it into our lined baking tray here. So gently does it, pour it in, start at one end and go down, and it's got to cover the whole of the baking sheet. I would advise you not to use too much on the old spatula, but to try and make it go into each of the corners by moving it around. Okay, I'm going to put this into an oven. It's a quick oven, as she says. Gas mark 7 or 8. I'll put the electric on the screen now, and that's for 7 to 8 minutes. There we go. So my cake has been in the oven. It was in for more than what was said, I'm afraid. It was in for 11 minutes. It's still warm, this cake, and while it's still warm, what I've done is I've laid out a piece of baking parchment and I have sugared it. And what I have to do is turn out my cake. Now it's still warm to the touch. In fact, it's quite hot to the touch, which is what we need. So we now need to turn this out onto here, and hopefully, there we go, the sugar won't go everywhere. So while that was cooling down slightly, it's only been out the oven about 5 minutes, I've put some lemon curd into a bowl and I've mixed it up a bit. So there's about 2 tablespoons. I don't think we're going to need all of that, I'm afraid. And yes, you're going to see me do this. Don't come at me if this goes wrong, please, guys. Is first of all, take the baking parchment off. So first things first, be gentle. This is just a whisked egg cake, which is slightly different to your more stable fat sponge, or sponge that has fat in it. And we're going to attempt to take the baking parchment off the cake without having any problems, which, bearing in mind this is a baking parchment and not grease-proof paper, there was a little bit of stick in there, as you can see, but it's not doing too badly. Ooh, nearly. Not doing too badly. There we go. Look at that. Only a little bit stuck there. It was in the middle. So what I'm going to do is do it from this end, and then we're going to spread our lemon curd across our cake. So just going to pour it all on and spread. Oh, that's not too bad, is it? I didn't think it would need all of this, but it definitely does. So might need even more. Try not to overfill your cake, which can cause problems, really. You can get right up to the edges though, that's okay. These are just teaspoons that I'm putting in here, by the way, not dessert spoons or anything, in case you're wondering. Next thing, the fold. 1.5 centimetres in, and just make a nice sort of score. And then what we're going to do is try and fold it over. So fold it over, keep your paper in, and then fold again, or should we say roll again, and then keep rolling if you can. Keep rolling, there you go. Keep rolling, and keep rolling, and keep rolling, and keep going. And then hold it for a minute or two. Make sure you stop on the seam, and then just leave it there. seam there. There we go. And clean up. So I'm just going to place it on here on my long plate. It's an ancient one, this one, excuse the state of it, but it is clean. I'm just going to leave it there until I'm done cleaning up. Is it any good, you're asking? Well, let's see. So there you go. Look at that. Lovely. You can see that lovely roll. Yeah. Sugar on the outside, yep. And a lovely light sponge. Let's see how it goes. How does it taste? Lemony. Sorry, it does. If I was going to say anything about this one, I would put it in for maybe 9 minutes, not 7 as I stated. However, as a Swiss roll and a cake, it's absolutely delicious. And it's not as hard as you think it is, especially if you're not trying to do bake-off standards, I must admit. Anyway, if you like what I'm doing, hit me up with a thumbs up. Subscribe, it costs nothing. All you need is a Google account. So for instance, at gmail.com or at google.com. If you want to comment on what I'm doing, feel free to do so. Anyway, thank you for now, and I'll see you in my next video.